All right, folks, let's talk about this bike a little bit. Again, this is the Wallke X3 Pro. This is their 26-inch by 4-inch fat tire bike, and it's a folding bike, as you can see here. All you actually have to do is pull this lever after you open it up and pull this, and you can also get the battery out. Once you have it about 90% open, you can pull the battery out of here. But I don't see the need for that. I just charge it on the bike. Now in the wintertime, I will be bringing these batteries inside, obviously. But anyway, yeah, it's a great riding bike. I've probably ridden almost 30 to 35 miles on this bike so far, and I will give this thing high reviews for sure. But it's a bike that is definitely built for speed. It's built for comfort, and with the parts that I'm seeing on this bike, it's built for durability for sure. They did put some really good components on this bike. And this is where you unlock the battery and everything, before I forget it, down right here. But yeah, with the dual suspension, it's got adjustments for the suspension in the front. As you can see, I mean, it'll give pretty easily just me pushing on it. But it's got a lockout here for you, an adjustment in case you want to do some off-road riding, things of that nature. The only thing I really don't like about the front tire, it does not have the quick release on it. It's got the through bolts where it's actually bolted to the frame. There's pros and cons on that. Yeah, this stops people from stealing the bike when you have this, or the front tire, not the bike, but they can't steal the front tire as easily because it's not got the quick release. So that's one disadvantage of the quick release. Other than that, I believe it's got 160, I'll correct this if I'm wrong, I think it's got 160 millimeter disc rotors. But I'll put that in the description box, a little bit about this bike and things that you need to know about it. But it's also got a 750 watt rear hub motor that you see down here. I believe this is a Bafang rear hub motor. It's got a Shimano Altus shifter, which is a really good shifter. This has got an 8-speed cassette. I normally stay in 8th gear 99% of the time. As I mentioned, and I'll mention this about all e-bike companies, they need to change really from chain drive to belt-driven bikes, e-bikes, because you really don't need all those different levels of gears. I think you just need one. And I have one bike that was sent to me that has it's belt-driven, and I'll tell you what, it's so much easier to use that gearing where it's just a single drive than it is with all these gears that you can go up and down on. Most people don't adjust that a whole lot when they're riding. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about again, it's got the front suspension, and then it's got the rear suspension here. And they did a very good design on this, how they put this under the seat post, which takes a lot of the absorption through this area right here. So hats off to Wallke for how they designed their rear suspension on this. I think it was very well done. But other than that, I mean, it's got, I guess it's called Disland hydraulic brakes on it. And that's very comfortable. The adjustments on these were very good when I took it out of the box, so I don't have to do much changing there. Again, I wish they would change their grips a little wider. They're just not long enough. This is good for your palm, but this needs to be a little bit longer, because my thumb catches this down through here as I'm riding, and that's something I don't like a whole lot. So I'm going to move this shifter and this brake lever in a little bit so I can not be touching that and hitting that with my thumb as I'm riding the bike. Now, it has also got your pedal assist levels 1 through 5. As you can see over here, this turns the bike off and on right here. And then you just hit the middle button, and then you can go up through your gears. And this has 9 pedal assist levels. I may only have it set at 5. I do only at 5. So I don't really want to go up and change any of the settings in the display controller, so we'll leave it where it's at. And this is your information button. It'll tell you how many miles you've gone. I've gone about 37.7 miles on this bike so far, and it shows your speed average and all those different analytics that you can find out about your ride itself. And it's also got a twist throttle here. I'm going to turn this down so I don't have this bike lurch on me. But this is the twist throttle here, and it is very responsive. So if you want to get across an intersection or whatever, the positioning of the thumb throttle is in a good area. So yeah, I like that. And it's also got a 48 volt 14 amp hour battery that sits in this frame. So as I mentioned, here's where you charge it. But as I mentioned, if you want to actually take that battery out, you're going to have to unfold the bike about 90% in order to get that out of there. So it's got plenty of power. The 48 volt 14 amp hour is about an average battery. A lot of bike companies are going to 52 volt now, but there's not a whole lot of difference between the two as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I love the brake rotors are very well done as far as the brake mechanism and the hydraulic brakes, very well done. It's got your front and your rear headlight, which I'll turn on for you here. It's just over here on the right. You just hold it down. And there's your headlight. And on your, it's got a rear brake light. I don't know if you can see that. But as I hit the brake levers, I like that. The only thing it doesn't have, I'd like to see turn signals on this bike. I think Wallke ought to put that in addition to the build of this bike. I'd like to see that on most e-bikes anymore, not just Wallke, but all e-bike companies. I really think they need to invest in putting turn signals on every e-bike that's built from a safety standpoint. Again, it's got a Kenda Crusade 26 by 4 inch fat tires. These are really some of the tires that are the top of the line that you're going to find on most e-bikes. Kenda is a very well known. I also found out an interesting fact from somebody that there's only 2 e-bike tire manufacturers in the world, and they're right next to each other. In China, there's 2 cities that actually make all the tires for e-bikes. I was not aware of that fact. Getting around, it's got plastic fenders. I'm okay with that. You see that on a lot of bikes. I'd like to see a metal fender incorporated into some of these bikes. Actually, it almost feels like it's metal, but I'm almost positive it's a plastic fenders on these. And it's got a very good rear rack put on the back of this bike. This is very well designed on this bike rack. It's very wide, it's very long, and I usually use Rock Brothers bags, but I'll tell you, it almost absorbed this bag. That frame is so big, but it's very nicely done. It's got very comfortable pedals on it. I may go to a wider pedal than these. I think I'd like to see the pedals where they're a little wider on this bike. But other than that, I mean, it's a great bike. I mean, like I said, I've got 30 some miles on it right now. I anticipate riding this a whole lot more. But wire management's done pretty well on this bike. As you can see, it's all wrapped in here, very nicely done. So you don't have a lot of wires that are going everywhere. They just go down right into the frame at the bottom here. Did a very nice job on that, Wallke. So, but other than that, I want to talk about the seat. Very comfortable. It's got an adjustment on here. I ride this at the lowest level, but it's a very comfortable seat. for a big bike. And you need a big seat for a big bike, that's for sure. But yeah, if you got any questions on this, put them down in the comment section, what you guys think. And let me talk a little bit about the accessories. And everything is down in the description box of this bike and all the accessories that I purchased. It's got this phone holder. It actually came with it. And this is a really good phone holder. I like it. And I always purchase these bar-end mirrors. That'll be in the description box. I like this style. It's got that blue tint to it, so you don't have a reflection on that very much. And it's also got adjustable, where this thing will go up and down, in and out. So it does a very good job on giving you line of sight on your rear view mirrors. I purchased these cup holders. These are called Kimi Motos. They're really designed for wheelchairs, but I love these on my bikes. They're big. They can hold a big container. You could put keys down in the side here if you need to. So yeah, I really like those cup holders. And of course, I always buy these Rock Brother bags for the most part. And I had an extra bag sitting around, so I actually put this on this bike. So those are a couple things that I did purchase in addition to the bike. And I've also gotten an alarm down here. I'll put that down in the description box. These alarms I put on all my bikes. Once I set that remote, if you even wiggle this bike a little bit, it's going to alarm you. And then if you move the bike, it's going to go crazy through all its alarm settings. So yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for somebody to steal this bike, but they could. There's no bike that's going to be anti-theft. I don't care what kind of lock you put on these things, but I highly encourage you, if you're going to go to the store and you're going to stop and leave this bike for any amount of time, I don't care if it's 30 seconds, you better get a good lock, rope lock, or I like ABUS locks. They're very good ones. They're pretty hard to actually even take a portable grinder to get through. It's going to take some time. So I put those on there. And one other thing I forgot to mention, I put on these bars on all my bikes. So if I want to mount my GoPro camera or something on there, I can do that. So that's a little bit about the bike. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the bike, and get this camera off here so we can sign out here. But anyway, this is Dan again with Senior E-Bike Nation. I'm glad that I got to review the Wallke bike out here today. And if you got any questions, put them down in the comment sections. Yeah, it's a beast. So Wallke, good job on the bike. But I want to thank you guys again. Share and subscribe. Hit that bell notification. Future videos. And I will see you guys on the next video.